This is week 2 of training to break a 2:45-hour marathon. I actually have some very exciting news to share. Based off of my last video, I wasn't very excited in the fact of I'm not in a position to run a 2:45 marathon, at least I thought so. I've been doing a little bit of speed work about once a week for a couple weeks, and I just am not in a fitness or shape that I have been previously. And so yeah, with 16 weeks of training, a lot can happen. But I need to not only be able to run faster than what I've currently been doing, but run faster for longer. And honestly, this week really surprised me. So I'll walk you through what happened. I didn't train any weights this week, and I ran a lot less volume than I was planning. I just wasn't sleeping well. I was pretty exhausted. I was kind of a bitch. Like, I skipped out of some workouts. So it's not a great thing. Like, I want to be a disciplined type of person, but there's some silver lining to this. So I ran 32 miles this week and no weight lifting, like I said, and I did 2 speed workouts. And so this is what's really exciting for me is if I'm running a sub 2:45 marathon, I have to run about 6:18 minute miles, somewhere around there to break the 2:45 barrier. And I've been running like 6:50s in some of these like training or like these speed tempo workouts that I've been doing leading up to this training block. And this week I really surprised myself. Maybe it was less volume, which is something I'll pay attention to or look at, but I did two speed workouts this week and a couple base runs. So or maybe it was just one base run. But anyways, the point is on Tuesday, I did a lactate threshold workout. I call it 2x2. It's basically you warm up, you run 2 miles at tempo pace or your lactate threshold. You take a quarter mile recovery and then you do another 2 miles and cool down. And I have enjoyed this type of workout, but it is hard. That second set is brutal. And I happened to be on the track with some friends. They were doing their own thing. And so the first 2 mile repeats that I did back to back, so 2 miles in total, I ran about a 6:32 pace. So this is flat and just on a track. And then the second set I ran around 6:38 and then threw up right after that final set. So my friends were laughing about how they're running around the track and just seeing me puke. It's the first time I've puked during a track workout, so I mean there's honestly a little bit of pride there. But despite not feeling great, running that fast on a flat track was really exciting, and I'll tell you why. Because with the St. George Marathon course, it's a ton of elevation drop. So there's some rolling hills, like you will gain some elevation, but you start at around like 5,600 feet and you come down to like 28 or something like that, 2,800, it's around there. And so it's mostly downhill. And it's deceiving because it is a fast course, but if you don't train the downhills, your quads are going to get blasted in the first like 15 miles. And so a lot of people obviously start out feeling good and know they can run a marathon, but their quads are just destroyed. What I'm doing is I'm running the course pretty much every Saturday, and so I'm getting a lot of that downhill training. And this leads me to my second speed workout. So now I'm implementing 2 speed workouts a week, and it's going to vary. I'm on this 2-week rotation. But the long run speed workout, it's one of my favorite workouts of all time. And basically you run, 8 to 10 miles, just super easy, and then you start doing some intervals when it comes to miles. And so I did the 2x2 tempo in this long run as well. So Tuesday I did on a track. I totaled, I don't know, something like 8 or 10 miles. And then this long run was 16 miles, and I warmed up for 9 at an easy pace. And then I did the 2x2 again, this time with a mile recovery in between the sets. And so I ran a 6:40, and I just felt amazing on that first tempo mile. And so I rolled into a 6:24 and then had that mile recovery and ran something like a 6:25 and then a 6:20 minute mile. And some of these miles had again, rolling hills. So I felt very strong. The cool down went fine. I was obviously tired. It was starting to get warm at that point. But that really showed me that when it comes to the downhill, I'm prepared for it a little bit more than I thought. And maybe I was assuming I wasn't in as good of a fitness for this race because on the track, obviously it's flat, so there's less downhill to use to your advantage. And this race is mostly all downhill besides a couple rolling hills. And so seeing that I can run that fast on these downhills this early on lets me know that I think I can break 2:45. A lot can happen in 16 weeks. I could get injured. But really, I think I'm doing the right things, and I'm only going to get faster, and I'm only going to be more consistent with my training. So now that I know my body can handle 2 speed workouts a week, if I just continue to increase those that base mileage and that volume, I'm obviously only going to get fitter. And so now I can handle the speed, and I'm going to work towards another 50-mile week this next week and get back into the gym. I'm going to change my gym routine slightly, which is another point I wanted to hit. Is with 2 speed workouts, I'm obviously demanding a lot on my body, increasing volume, I'm demanding a lot. And so I am going to dial back my strength training routines and make them a lot easier. I'm going to change more to like kind of a HIIT workout style, but more of like low weight, high volume, and instead of like going to failure with all these sets. And that's what I typically do year round. But obviously with the speed work demanding a lot, I just want to maintain the strength I have. I don't think I necessarily need to increase it a ton. And so I'm going to switch that up so there's not as much of a load and recovery need from my strength training routines. So I think that's going to help. I think I'll be able to continue to maintain my strength and then increase the speed, as I said, and this following week shoot for 50 miles as far as the volume goes. And then I got like a VO2 max workout and some more mile repeats this coming week. So I'm excited. I feel way more confident, and things can ebb and flow. Maybe that was a deceivingly good run, but to have a run with 16 miles, be implementing some of those tempo miles as fast as they were, I got 16 weeks to only get better and fitter. And the key thing I noticed when it came to the speed work on the course and during my long run is I wasn't like destroyed by the speed. I actually couldn't keep up with the tempo as far as like the turnover or my cadence. So part of me wonders if the first 9 miles I used to warm up, I was going up a little too hard. But I think I'm actually just not like physically used to running that fast, but my fitness was there, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't like gasping for breath throughout those tempo miles. I actually felt pretty relaxed and calm. I just have to turn over my legs faster and have a higher cadence and just work on the form a little bit more. So that's a good thing for me, because that told me my fitness was able to go further, or I was able to push it harder if my form was on point, and it wasn't. And so I just need to continue to get used to running at that speed. I've ran sub 6 miles before during races. I averaged a 6-minute mile pace for a half marathon. It put me at like around a 1:18 half marathon time. So I know I can do it. I think I'm just getting used to it again. So I'm really excited. I know I fell short on a lot of things, and I need to be better at sleeping and strength training and stretching. But the running's there, and that feels really good to know that like early on. So I'm pretty pumped, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And I'll continue posting videos every Sunday about how the previous week of training went. So if you like running content, or you want to follow along with the sub 2:45 race that I'm chasing, feel free to subscribe. If not, I still hope you got something out of this video, and I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace.